that you can take what you have, make something useful, and learn good techniques all at the same time. That's really my main goal. And then, hello and welcome to the second part and final part of our sew along. This is where we left off after the first part. That's just the pocket, and we're going to be moving on. Now, the next parts are pretty standard, aka boring. I do show how to clip, how to seam rip. There is seam ripping in this one as well, and how to do bias binding. But I'm just following the directions. Here's the pocket we made, and I did have to seam rip that because I did sew it wrong. So that makes like the third time I've had to seam rip it already. Okay, so I have the pocket all laid out flat on top of my main fabric and the batting that I ended up using. And ta-da! So this is what it looks like. The pocket is sewn on. And I'm going back to the instructions, and I do like to check off every time I do a step so I don't have to look for it every time. Now I'm going to clip together. At this point, I did batting on both sides. That's what it calls for. It calls for fleece, but I used batting. You'll see what happens in a little bit. I've got it everything clipped. And we're going to... Done. Okay. And it is all sewn all around. And then I put it on the chair, and it is too bulky. It does not look good. So this is me showing you that, yeah, it's not perfect, but it hides a lot with using that busy fabric. I pinched the fabric right there. It's got a little fold in it. And at first I was going to leave it, but I put it on the chair and I'm like, oh, it is too snug. So I took it all apart. And I took one of the batting pieces off. So the batting I kept on was to the pocket. So that goes to the back of the chair. And that made it fit so much better, as well as clipping the curves like the instructions say to do. That made it fit a lot better too. Okay, so I'm just sewing it back together without that extra batting, just one layer, like I said, toward the pocket. And here's what it looks like on the chair. Still got to do the bias binding on the bottom, but look how cute. Look how cute. Look how messy my craft room is when I'm working on something. Anybody else? It's amazing what you can ignore when you're at the sewing machine, right? Especially since my back is to the rest of this room, so it really helps. All right, here's what everything looks like. Just kind of showing you after you sew and leave. This is what it looks like. It's kind of messy, and my husband's pants need mending, and I want to work on some other projects, so I want to get this done. So I'm just double checking that I want to do the orange bias binding, just for some pop of color and fun, since this project is already so fun, you know. And what am I doing here? Oh, I'm going to be doing the bias binding, I believe. Oh, I'm sewing around here. Oh, I'm clipping the curves. Clipping the curves. That makes it fit so much better. And then normally you would trim the edge, but I normally skip that part. Okay, so I'm clipping the bias binding. You open it up. This is homemade bias binding, but it works the same way. It calls for double fold. That's what I usually use for everything anyway. And so I'm going to stitch right on that first fold after I clip it all the way around. And we turn it over. That's the nice side. So I like to sew it on the wrong side first and then flip it over so I can see what I'm sewing, so I can make sure my lines are nice and straight. Stitching lines. Yep. And here I am at the sewing machine. And I am going to trim some of that batting away after I sew it, because it is in the way for sure. Yes, okay, well, show us that you're going to be sewing. We got it. I don't know why I feel the need to show you that same part 3 times, but you know. Okay, we're slipping it into the sewing machine, just at a random point. Okay, and now I'm fiddling with the ends. Now there's a proper way to do this when you're doing a quilt, you know, something that looks a little bit nicer, but for this small of a project, when you're just trying things out, it's okay to just fold it over and sew it. It's really okay. So that's what I'm doing here. And, you know, this is what my mother always did for her quilts with her binding. She just folded it over. She never did all the fancy stuff that you see, but I do the fancy stuff because it looks nicer. But not for this project. We're just trying to get it done. Okay, so I sew on the back first, and then I wrap it around so that I can see where I'm stitching. And I can make sure I'm covering up that stitching line that is in a different color. I do it in a different color so that I can see where it is. So I can make sure I'm covering it up. So the binding's gonna be a little funky to sew over the different things, but it's fine. I'm really glad I went with the orange. I think the orange looks so cute. Nice little contrast. And all right, on to the sewing. I've got it just in a random spot. And I am using that stitch length that I just showed. And went all the way around. Ba-boom! And here it is. So I just went really slow. I did not get it perfect at all. It's wavy. You know, I did have to go over it right there, as you can see. But once you see it on the chair, you know, the point is it doesn't matter. Just get it on there and go slow, and you'll get better with time. You're not going to be good at it first, and you're not going to be good at it the 50th time. It just takes a while. Okay, closing remarks. So, we have successfully sewn a chair caddy out of just cute little scrappy fabric. I didn't overcomplicate it. I didn't put a lot of thought into the fabric matching or anything like that. Techniques we learned is bias binding, pleats, and elastic, doing elastic casing. And there you go. It's functional, it's cute, and you know, it just slides right on the chair. Woohoo! I'll do a big full reveal here on the chair in a second. But I've already put it to good use. And I'm keeping this on one pocket, and this, which has my metal bobbins for my little machine here in it. So I just, sorry, it's loud. Trying not to make noise. Okay. It just goes right in the pocket. I don't even have to look. Slides right down in there. Normally. Okay, there we go. So, all in all, what this project did for me, for us, for the sewing school series, is that it showed us, hopefully, that you can take what you have, make something useful, and learn good techniques all at the same time. That's really my main goal. And then we can progress from there to whatever your main goal of sewing is. Whatever you're wanting to sew for yourself or whatever. This sewing school series will help you do that. Using what you have and just learning little things as we go. Learning as we go. Learn by doing. That kind of thing. I am going to continue using the little blue, that's just off camera, the little blue mini ultra machine. I have lots more content for my channel in the works, including a 2025 makes video that will go up Monday or Tuesday, and I'm trying to decide what the next Thursday school lesson will be, our hangout session. My main goal for sewing is to relearn, stop all the bad habits, lazy habits that I've been doing, and make clothes. But more about that in my 2025 makes video that I'm filming right now. And yes, so next week I'm not for sure what it will look like, but it will be along the same veins of the sewing school kind of thing. So anyway, I know this was kind of a boring sew along, pretty standard, but it helped me get more familiar with my little sewing machine, my little mechanical sewing machine, and see just how much of a workhorse it really is and what it cannot do, which will also be a video. And I hope it showed you something and taught you something. So, alright, I will see you next week a couple of times. So, toodaloo. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and comment.